Welcome to I Want to Like This, the podcast where I sit down with a guest to talk to them about something that they got really excited for and really disappointed by. I ask them why for both of those, and just because I like to end on a constructive note, I want to know what they would have done differently, how they would have made it better. I go into this podcast with what I believe my guests went into their subject with. Very simple idea. I want to like this. This episode of the podcast, Jerry Gossen, my own producer, he got really excited by the preview for Dracula Untold, which I don't understand, but he did. And he thought it was going to be a damn good film, and I was not surprised when it wasn't, but he was, and that sucks when that happens, but it makes for great podcasting. Not only does that make for great podcasting, because Jerry is a film student, he knows his way around a camera, so he had some opinions about how it was shot and the art direction it went, but his artist friend Jessie sits in with us, and we get a nice opinion from a man who comes with an artistic background for color and saturation. So, I hope you enjoy this. Jerry and I bicker, which is kind of our nature, but that's what best friends do, and watch Dracula Untold. Just make yourself watch, just start making yourself watch these films, because then you have something to go along with it. It's like a commentary track. It's nearly as long. I hope you enjoy this podcast, and once again, feel free to like this on this page, subscribe, like us on Facebook, I Want to Like This, and follow us on Twitter, @I Want to Like This. You're going to have fun. Just keep doing it. And you think it's good.
I made turn down for what?
I think it's awful, is the thing. That's why I find it funny.
Okay. At least we made macachos today.
We did make macachos today.
Fuck yes.
They were awesome.
We started this movie with macachos in hand.
It was the best idea.
I wasn't included.
Thank you.
Oh, the macachos were the best idea of this entire day. Watching this movie was not the best idea.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
No, you know what it is? This
Okay.
is a movie.
Before your introduction.
Before we get into anything further, hi, I'm Tom Sinclair. This is I Want to Like This. Today our guest is my producer, Jerry Gossen.
You can't see this, but I'm doing stupid jazz hands.
I fucking hate you. He does this shit off microphone all the time. We're just doing stupid shit.
That was my
face.
introduction. Hey, but they can't see it.
No, they can't, because no one can see how
it's
retarded
audio.
you're being right now.
This is where my cat and I get along.
Yeah. No, because you're both dumb. His cat is like the retarded version
I
of
do
my
stupid
cat.
things. He's just dumb. At
Anyway,
least I'm hilarious.
Jerry, you invited another guest. Who's with us today?
This is Jessie.
Hi.
Yeah.
That expresses me pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm okay with Jesse being here because Jesse's funny and he's insightful. And today, Jerry, what movie did you pick for us to ridicule?
I chose a movie that I was, like the podcast goes, I was pretty excited after seeing the trailer. Dracula Untold.
The 2014 classic, starring Luke Evans as Vlad the Impaler and Dominic Cooper, well known for playing Tony Stark's father, as the Sultan of the Turks. Fantastic.
Not gonna lie, when you first said that, I thought to the first couple Iron Man movies, and I thought that Tony Stark's father, and I was like, he wasn't that skinny. And then I was like, oh, you're stupid. I was like, oh, you mean the actual Tony Stark that we've come to know and love?
Yes.
From Cap and...
Yes.
yeah.
From all those great Marvel movies that we love so much as society.
I will say that they were better than this movie.
Okay, before we get on to the part of this show where we comment on what we did not
formula.
There is a formula. So first, Jerry, you said you got excited when you saw the trailer. What about the trailer got you excited?
Okay, so from a young age, I was this weird kid that would loved vampires, and my mom actually fed into that. She'd give me comics of I had a whole book that told backstories about what vampires are, and it talked about Dracula, and it was like this graphic novel setup of like the history of folklore of vampires, and I read that thing like religiously. Yes, I chuckled. So I've always liked vampires, and one of my favorite my favorite type of movies growing up as a kid were the Universal monster movies. Fucking Bela Lugosi was my shit.
Bela Lugosi is the man.
You know, so it's like
I'm a Creature from the Black Lagoon kind of guy, but I do love the Bela Lugosi.
Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney Jr. is the Wolfman. Best time of my life as a kid.
Random fact: I've been to Silver Springs, where Creature from the Black Lagoon was filmed.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
It's my favorite glass bottom boat, and they show you parts of like props from the movie that are still in the bottom.
That's cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
See, I chose Dracula Untold because I'm a vampire nut, and I brought
not a Twilight vampire nut.
No. We'll get into that.
Like a classic vampire nut.
No, we'll get into that. I brought up a point about that earlier, and I brought Jessie is along with me because he also likes vampires, the good vampires, not the Twilight stuff. And we saw this film in theaters together. So and we both were like, this looks really good. And he actually, as a gift, he fed into my horror frenzy. He bought me a Blu-ray disc set of all of Frankenstein iterations.
Nice.
And it had a free ticket to this movie through Fandango. So I was like, okay, I've been wanting to see this movie.
So it's easy to get pumped.
Yeah.
Vampires, free ticket.
Yeah. So
good
we were
trailer.
Like,
the trailer's not bad. I watched the trailer in prep
and fucking,
while you guys were gone.
I don't care what people say. I liked Lord. So when she was in the trailer, that song, it was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. No. And we were both pumped.
And there's no Lord in the soundtrack whatsoever.
No, it was only the trailer. But yeah, so that's why I got excited, because the trailer, it looked good. I like vampires.
It looked like it harkened back to like it kind of reminded me like the first setup when you see Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
Basically everything in Bram Stoker's Dracula that doesn't have Keanu Reeves or Winona Ryder, and it's pretty great. Because it's just Gary Oldman. Just chewing scenery like it was someone's neck.
But it's like the watered down like half. Discovery Channel History Network special.
Okay, we'll get on to what we don't like about it.
No. There's a formula.
That's next.
Stop it.
The next part is, what did you guys like about this movie? I have things I actually like about this movie. I made notes. I'm a professional.
Fucking loved some of the creative shots in this movie. Oh my god.
The cinematography is not terrible.
No, but some of the creative shots, it wasn't even like really as far as like cinematography and actual shots. It was obviously like post done. The scene where he first goes into the battle against the 1,000 troops after he gets the Dracula powers.
Yeah, he becomes a vampire.
Yeah, there's a scene.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
every episode of this has spoilers.
If you know this by now, if you're listening to this, you should have seen the movie. It's going to be spoilers.
And even if you didn't see the movie,
disclaimer.
Guess what? Fuck it.
Yeah, we're not adding disclaimers for this anymore.
No,
I don't care.
We'll never add disclaimers to this.
So there's a scene he's fighting 1,000 men, and one of the shots, he doesn't even have his own weapons. He takes somebody's sword and fucking stabs this guy right in the chest, and it goes through first person point of view of this guy that gets stabbed in the chest, falls to the ground, and is watching the havoc wreaked by this man through the reflection of the sword blade. And it goes through, and you see him killing, and then he grabs the sword out of this man's chest, and you see that reflection, and then the scene ends as that guy fades out of existence and dies, and he looks up at the sky. Beautiful!
Jerry would get excited about a Skittles commercial if there was one salvageable shot in it, though. So
we've had this discussion.
Yes.
He does.
He would be like, "That was an amazing commercial."
Okay.
Let's
break down other than just cinematography. Let's actually go through the list.
Yes.
I think casting wise, this was done really well.
Yes.
I don't think any of the casting choices are bad. Mm-hmm. Even the kid who's playing Dracula's kid.
I just felt like they really
Stop. No negative. We're going positive. There's
positive
a
formula.
Getting to the point.
There's a formula.
No, let him get to the point. I'll let him finish.
Let me finish.
Let him finish, Sherry.
Jeez.
My formula.
I felt like that they really downplayed the glamour that other vampire movies have done to the Dracula story, and it was really like a pared down medieval what probably really would have been.
Yeah, I think they did the 2005 King Arthur movie to it. Like 2004 King Arthur movie.
It's medieval, and that's the way it would have looked at the time.
I think a lot of the glamour comes later on when he actually embraces that he's eternal.
Right. No, I mean, they were barely their own sovereign nation. So there's a little bit of, like, that sense that we're trying to be a little bit more true to the history there.
Which
so
I kind of like. Yeah, I like that, too.
It was a good period piece.
Yes. The costuming was done really well.
The set design.
I don't necessarily like the leather Dracula armor, because it felt like... No, because that just feels like they're like, this will look badass to people. Although it's like an armored affliction shirt.
Cut off sleeves for
no. The armor when it's got the red dragon across it and the leather.
Did you notice that was like an Asian dragon and there's no way that would have been there? And I'm like, oh.
Well, actually, no, not for transforming it. It would have had an actual body and then wings on it. But totally. Yeah. It was the wrong kind of dragon, except for on the side, on the shoulder pieces.
Those were really cool. Those are beautifully sculpted.
Those are really cool. They're beautifully sculpted, but it just feels like an affliction shirt as armor.
Yeah,
but
look at this guy. He looks
badass. Though the last time we saw Dracula's armor was Bram Stoker, and that armor won an award because it was so artistic.
It was. Yeah, and I just think they could have done better. Like everyone's now seen Game of Thrones,
so
we know what medieval armor looks.
That's also not true. Like the last, there have been many.
The super blonde chick, the way the scenes were set up, the way the costumes looked. I'm like.
Just because you love Bram Stoker's Dracula does not mean that it was the last Dracula movie.
The last Dracula movie is Dracula 2000.
Yes, fuck!
You misheard me. I said the last time we saw Dracula's armor was in Bram Stoker.
Okay.
So that's what they were...
But it was like... We've seen many iterations. I like Dracula 2000.
Dracula 2000 is the last solo Dracula film.
I like
Gerard Butler. So it's 14 years between them.
I liked that story.
I don't like Gerard Butler as a human being.
I didn't like that story.
He seems kind of like a dick.
Yeah, I didn't like
you like Bram Stoker's Dracula, so shut up!
Really, probably
Bram Stoker's Dracula is not a good movie.
No!
You are talking...
It's pretty. That's it.
It's beautiful.
Jesse is going to do this. He's going to argue for aesthetics.
Yes.
Because Jesse is an art major.
And Gary Oldman.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. Gary Oldman's a beast.
Okay. Gary Oldman set design costume.
Okay, no. We still got... Okay, settings. Settings, it seems easy to do with this.
I don't feel like we saw a lot of settings. We saw, like, 4 major locations, and that was it.
Yeah. The castle's done well, but it's like there's so many castles you can go to. It doesn't seem like an effort.
I loved the cave. I loved that character. They introduced a new character. I thought that was interesting. Somebody
the master.
Because in every other story, Dracula self-creates.
Yeah. From cursing out God.
Yeah. But so they created a new character, and he was fucked up.
Yeah,
he was really.
He was
cool.
very grotesque.
He is actually from Game of Thrones.
That actor.
Yeah, the actor.
No, I did like how grotesque that character was.
Charles Parks. He is Tywin Lannister.
You can tell he's a classically trained actor.
Yes. He's getting so mad.
Fucking my podcast choice, and I'm getting cut off.
Okay.
Assholes. I lost my train of thought. Go on to the next one. Fucker.
I like what they did with Dracula being tormented through the idea of having to fight off the bloodlust.
Yeah, that's what I was telling him.
Post Twilight though,
but you know what the thing is? Dracula kind of has that going into it that he's always tormented by what he is. But I like the idea of developing into it. But I just never think they I like that idea. That idea is a great idea. I don't think they fully developed it or played with it the way they could have. But I like how they do with his torment. Like when he walks out of the burning house and he's literally angry at these people that he's sacrificing his soul for to protect these people. And they're ready to kill him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like the one point where he like broke. And it was like, it took, like, that's also the dynamic. It was kind of like the same old song and dance for the story. It was like father, husband, saving his family. Cliche. But those two
are
together...
they're cliche, but can I say this one thing, though? Those things are in one of the original Dracula myths.
Yeah.
So they're not, like... They would be cliche, except for Dracula did it first.
No, it makes sense because it's the Dracula story, but...
Why does Dracula curse out God? Because his wife dies.
So it's...
There are subtle nods to the original Dracula mythology.
Well,
which I think is cool.
But I do kind of, because maybe it's because I've been doing this whole gender studies feminism kick lately, I do kind of feel like they downplayed the wife's character a whole lot. Like, suddenly she's blonde-haired, blue-eyed, cries, shuts up, goes away. It's like, okay.
True.
It's like, so she wasn't much of a character to begin with, and she's subtle hints at her devout, Christianity, and then basically, she's pretty, she cries, they have sex, and then she dies and plays the part that she's supposed to play, and it's like...
She was a martyr. She was the reason.
Okay.
I was going to make another point, but it got glossed over again.
You are so terrible at this.
You keep cutting me off, two of you.
Then stick up for yourself. Force your point. Tell
Fuck.
Jesse to shut up. He's your guest.
I tried, and you're like, no, we're going to let him talk. We're going to throw the mold out the window for once.
Okay, no. So, is there anything else we like about this movie?
I had several things about the movie that I liked, but I can't remember them now.
That does not bode well for this movie.
He's very pretty. He was a pretty
the dynamic of the actor and the actress that were husband and wife is Vlad and his wife. I don't remember her name. It started with an M. It was Mill or...
Marina.
Yeah. Those two had chemistry.
Yes.
They were fantastic. And that was, okay.
Yeah, that scene where they're actually getting ready to make love, I actually like, oh yeah, these two would fuck.
Well, yeah, and also the fact that when he returns home from the trip, like, they're, like, playfully bantering, and then he pulls her into the tub. Like, that was real chemistry that I felt between the two. But,
yeah,
like,
sometimes you can do those scenes with the wrong actors.
It was organic, and I felt that.
Yeah, it was pretty bonerific.
But whenever
I like that word.
God damn it, what was I gonna say?
This is what happens when you wear a Colorado shirt.
Yeah. I am wearing a Colorado
shirt. Funny, he's the loudest and most interruptive person, but he complains the most about being interrupted.
Because his train of thought gets interrupted like that.
Yes.
It's the most easy thing to derail.
As loud as he possibly can for 2 straight minutes before he remembers again.
The bloodlust. You skipped over the bloodlust whenever. Okay, so... Fuck, I hate you guys sometimes. The bloodlust seemed kind of real because of that dynamic, and especially when they were in the tent, and it was like they were getting ready to make love again, and then he just saw the pulsing of the blood rushing through her neck, and he was like,
yeah, because he doesn't want to rip his wife's throat out.
Yeah. Also, okay, it was different. I'm kind of like on the edge of whether I really liked it. Some of the effects, I loved the split into all the different bats. That effect, I thought it was cool.
The effect is neat,
but it is
on my list of things that I
thought it was cool. I thought it was cool. It was very overused, but it was a cool effect. It was overused. It was a cool effect, but it was overused.
It's the only trick in their bag.
What happened to rat, smoke, wolves?
Yeah, all the other creatures of the night.
But what happened to just being able to fly? What happened to that? Like, nope. He couldn't fly to save her? No.
But the thing that I was getting to is the one thing that you see that makes him seem like a vampire, that he's a creature of the night. He sees black and white, and he only sees the red and the pulsing of blood going
heartbeats.
through.
He sees warm blood.
He sees warm blood, and that was cool. I like that idea.
He does have predator vision.
You see it at first in the cave as the predator is seeing these people intruding in his cave. And then you see it whenever he gets his powers and he comes to, and he's just seeing animals and this really sharp, loud clickety-clack of a spider building a web around an insect.
Yeah, that was actually really neat.
I thought
that was a really
cool.
good demonstration of how acute his senses were.
Yeah, and when he drops the ring and he tries to stand up and he crushes a rock by just throwing his weight on it.
I don't like that because as the person who knows physics,
it doesn't make sense.
If he pushed that hard, he would just throw himself.
Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't crush the rock because
he's not that
he weighs
dense.
Less, he weighs less than the rock.
He's not dense.
So,
but it was still kind of cool. It's like,
a cool idea.
That was physically that didn't work. Yeah, there were a lot of cool effects. I just feel it was like we've got 3 tricks in our hat and we're gonna throw them out and that's it.
Well, then you know what that brings us to, right?
What we don't like.
What we don't like about this movie. What made this movie such a disappointment? It's really hard when you first watch it. It's really hard to be either enthralled or disappointed by it because it's just kind of happening.
Yeah,
it feels like it's something that happens to you, not something you're going into experience.
I think the color is really hard. Like, when we saw it in the theater, I was squinting almost the whole time because it's so dark and desaturated of all color.
Well, they do
they do
this thing where, like, and I do it
do the Man of Steel thing. God damn it, Zack Snyder.
I do it in some of my paintings where if you want to get, like, a weird, grotesque look to, like, skin tone and flesh tone, you do warm colors layered with cool colors layered with warm colors. So they pass it through these weird filters where you're getting, like, pale blues and teals reflecting off of pinks and reds and oranges, and it just looks bizarre.
Yeah.
And then it's all muted and not well lit.
Extremely overproduced as far as coloring.
Yeah, well, the problem with doing that is, that's really cool if you have, like, a static shot of one of the vampires, because it makes them seem otherworldly. But when everything in the world looks like that, no one, like, there's nothing to...
It doesn't look organic.
He turns paler and his skin cracks a little bit when he becomes a vampire. There's nothing to that doesn't look like it just fits into the world. Like, he should look otherworldly, and he just looks like something in the backdrop.
Yeah.
And I think that was just a piss-poor art choice. Anytime someone desaturates something, I get really upset, because it takes away from what that camera actually presents. Yeah.
I mean, I do like blue hues on movies. I like it when it's, like, darker.
But not when you take
the color out. Yeah, I like it whenever you dim it.
That's why Zack Snyder always sucks, because he takes the color out of everything.
Yeah. Justice League Pitch Black.
I'm
the Green Lantern. Or
eventually, someone's going to be on a comment section. They're just going to be like, all he does is shit on Zack Snyder.
Yes.
I do a lot. In my personal life, too.
You're literally just like, all right, Zach, here we go.
Ugh, it upsets me. Anyway,
you have a picture
that's
in
on my
toilet.
list of 5 things I won't do.
What?
Crap on Zack Snyder?
Just crap on anybody.
Yeah.
That's the
no hot Carls?
I don't like to crap on anyone except for Zack Snyder. I do think James Cameron's only made, like, 2 good films.
Literally does, though. He has a picture in his toilet of Zack Snyder's face.
I don't go that far. Honestly,
yes, you do. Don't lie to these people.
Shut up! I'm not a horrible human. No, cats are horrible human beings.
Well, yeah, because they're cats. They're not human beings. No.
Okay, so other than the coloration, by the way, what else is something we just don't like about this movie?
It treads too much on the fact that it's like, Twilight, we made vampires, so this is how vampires should be now.
Oh, God.
Because it's a fucking monster movie about Dracula, and you don't see, like, any blood. It's all prettied up, and it's like, we're going to take and put this nice...
You don't see a lot of blood.
We're going to put this
that he
pretty
did
bow.
fell over with no bite mark on the back. What the fuck?
All of those fight
That's
scenes.
terrible editing.
All those fight scenes. The fucking guy the only blood you see is the monster in... Like, the cave.
The master vampire.
When it goes out in the sunlight and the blood just singes and burns
or
off
the
of
blood
blade.
when he feeds Dracula.
Yeah,
that's all the blood you really get to see.
But it's like, it's all...
Even when Dracula feeds his blood to other people, you don't see it.
No.
Not really.
Wow, that's so weird. They took the blood. Like, you would think the one color you'd want to saturate in this movie is red.
Yeah.
And they don't.
No.
Oh, God, I didn't think about that.
Like I said, they put a pretty bow around it, and they just tried to make it pretty and okay, and they didn't want... They took out the grotesqueness, and they just tried to pretty it up.
I would say pretty much any other Dracula movie, including Bram Stoker, the classics, Dracula 2000... He was, like, maniacal. He kind of enjoyed it. There was, like, a weird sadomasochist.
Even in, like, Van Helsing, he's so in control of what he is.
This is an origin story, though. This tells it, like, the type of person he is. He was still Vlad the Impaler. Okay, that's another thing I don't like. They romanticize everything. He was a terrible human being that impaled thousands of people.
Yes.
And then that scene where he's in the cave and he's like, did you kill hundreds? Yes. And he fucking chokes. He's like, I'll kill you. I will literally rip your from stomach to, and I'll feed you your intestines if you lie to me again. And he's like, yeah. Okay, and how did you feel? Well, I didn't fucking care.
Well, I think that was fitting the idea of, like, the disassociation when you're a soldier in war. Because they did talk, the whole thing starts with a monologue talking about how the Turks took kids and trained them in little hate machines. Which they did. they conscribe children all the time, which is actually like the big thing, and the whole plot is based around this idea that they're going to conscribe kids again.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to see his son conscribed like him.
I just feel like it's like, okay, I took art history, I took world history, so I know about, the Crusades and the Turks trying to invade Europe and the fall of Byzantium and all of that, but your average viewer isn't going to know that.
No.
So
I think that's the whole point of that voiceover.
They tell you.
But
they're
I just feel like
is...
they're trying really hard to set up, like, this whole plot side story that the average viewer isn't going to know. Like, they're not going to know.
Well, it wasn't, they simplified it. They give you breadcrumbs of the past, so if you know that, then you're going to be like, that's true. But it was literally, he's like, you haven't done this in a long time. It was shock value.
Yeah. Can I argue another thing about the story plot that really pisses me off?
What?
Our narrator is his son.
Yeah.
What happens?
What? Here's the thing. It also jumps to the future, like our modern times. So his son can't be the narrator. But also, there's all these moments where his dad he's not anywhere near his father. And he doesn't see his father after that day. He thinks his dad burns alive, right?
Yeah.
Who the fuck did he hear his father's story from?
I don't know.
How is his son telling this? That's a very large
It was
logical
probably,
step.
the only thing I can chalk it up to is the fact that the guy at the monastery knew his father. And it was like,
the only way because he still wouldn't know anything about the master vampire. He wouldn't know any of that. My theory is the only way this makes logical sense is, and the only reason he is portrayed as such a family guy and everything, is this is his kid. Because he even says it, I'm going to tell the truth. This is his kid trying to whitewash his father's history.
Yeah.
So his dad doesn't seem like a horrible monster.
But even that's still a stretch, too. Cause
it is a stretch. The whole movie's a stretch.
I mean, what's also to say the fact that he was immortal? Do you really think he didn't... If he loved his son, do you really think he didn't see his son again?
I don't know.
Yeah, like, I kind of feel like at that point when his son reached maturity as an adult, as a leader...
he and his dad are just hanging out?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think his dad ever, like, truly... I don't think him as Dracula ever truly came back, because he was a fucking monster after that, and his people knew he was a monster.
Yeah.
But I would probably say that as a father to a son, and his son didn't hate him... He didn't cast him out of his kingdom. They probably met up in the future when they were both, when he was an adult and the ruler.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is my past, and this is what I did to save you.
That is another
That's how
jump.
Well,
yeah, that's another...
The fucking future doesn't make any sense.
This gets to my point. They never show us anything.
Yeah.
They don't show us a lot. Like, we're supposed to understand that the Sultan and Vlad grew up around each other and all this, just because Vlad straight tells us this is what happens. In the story telling the story, he explains it as he's going, I will talk to him because I grew up around him, blah, blah, blah. He gives this exposition to his soldiers, which is obviously for the audience.
Yeah.
Because they don't show any flashbacks of them as kids when he was growing up as a Turk.
But even that's...
Except for the very little snippet at the beginning of
but
the
they don't show Vlad.
No.
They just show, like,
it's just
basic images.
But even I find that irritating, because if you do any kind of... If you watch the Discovery Channel, the Travel Channel, they do extensive, like, little mini-series specials about Vlad the Impaler.
Yes.
He didn't grow up with the Sultan. His brother Radu, who was actually his brother, was a prince for the Turkish Empire because his brother decided to stay on the other side.
Yes.
So he never was involved with the Sultan at all. That really kind of just it irks me. I'm like, that.
This movie wasn't made for people that are actually art historians.
No.
It's made for, it's a giant Hollywood big budget film for cool stuff that we can do.
Well, I
like that you're really advocating like Discovery and History Channel for this thing.
I don't advocate History Channel. They lost me when they
I'm an art major, and I've known this. So watch Discovery Channel because they're pretty cool.
I'm just saying that they're good documentaries.
Yeah.
There are plenty of good documentaries. There's plenty of good documentaries, even on Vlad the Impaler on Netflix. Go check them out.
Yeah.
Netflix, Discovery Channel, History Channel. Woo!
Netflix.
Learning.
If any of you want to sponsor us, go for it. You can find us at I Want to Like This, Twitter and Facebook. I Want to Like This. Anyway, but no, like that's my problem. Like it's a film. They do a lot of telling and no showing.
Yes.
There's a lot of things where it's just like, I don't know why this is happening, except for he told me that this was going to happen.
Well, it goes back to there was only like 4 or 5 different settings that we actually see, physical settings, different places. Like
and
there's that riverbed.
You're with the
but
Sultan,
it's all in the same kind of like roundabout area.
Yeah. Well, it's Transylvania.
Yeah.
Transylvania is not that big.
Yeah. But it's like it makes you. They give the feeling that they're really going different places. Like that long travel up to the monastery felt really long.
Where they lost me is people who maybe have studied like vampirism or traditional vampirism. Like I loved in middle school and high school, and then I kind of lost it a little bit in high school. But anyway, I love traditional like folk tales about vampirism, what they believed it was. I feel like they lost like that whole Transylvania mystique, because Transylvania is a weird, superstitious, very religious country.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even like
the only thing they actually touched on with them being superstitious or anything like that is when they're jumping ready to burn him because he's a vampire.
Yeah. Yes.
Or when the priest first tells him that,
it goes back,
it's a vampire, this was prophesized. That's all they touch on.
And that goes back to what I was saying. It's very romanticized Hollywood type film. It's big budget.
It's very
Hollywood
whitewashed.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes like.
There's definitely not a single Romanian actor in this movie.
Honestly, since we have gotten like the whole big Twilight thing and how romanticized vampires are, we haven't gotten like really big like monster movies.
Dracula's always a romantic character.
Yeah. But he's still a monster.
But he's still scary. Yeah,
he's still a monster. He rips out people's throats viciously.
Well, that's what I really hate.
He eats a baby in the book. I mean, come on.
But that's the thing I don't like about this movie with the action scenes. Yes, that bat effect is cool, and the first time you see it, and he kind of smiles when he comes back together because he's like, "Oh, that was
cool.
I can turn into a bat, a couple of bats. That's cool." But that's all. There's no brutality in the fight scenes, and this is a Transylvanian trained by Turks that we know is Vlad the Impaler. He was a brutal, violent tyrant.
Yes. You don't do that.
You don't have the brutality in these fight scenes because you cut it out to all these bats.
The only time you really see true brutality is when he's defending his
son. Yeah.
When he's like, run to your mother. He destroys those people.
Well, that goes to my thought. There's only 2 interesting fights in the entire movie. And they ruin the second one. Like, the first fight that's interesting is the first fight.
Yes.
The first time you see Vlad go, run to your mother. Run. And then he kills all these guys on his own.
But even then, it was like, did he kind of, you only get a flash of those guys' arms, that guy's arms coming off for a second.
Like I said.
And
it
was
barely any blood.
It's implied.
It was PG-13.
Like, yeah, they don't show it. Yeah. There should not be a PG-13 Dracula movie.
It's like, here's the action, but we're going to pan all the way almost to where it's over here. You can't see all of it.
Well, they had to do that because they went for a PG-13, not an R rating.
The Dracula movies that we love, the Universal monster movies that we love, were hard R's in their day. They're not R's now.
No.
They're not. They're PG-13s by today's standards. And they were gorier than this.
Yes.
And they had a sense of fright and suspense that this doesn't have.
I feel like even Dracula 2000 probably had a bigger special effects budget.
Oh, Dracula 2000 had a huge special effects budget.
Yeah, it was cool.
And they also had a budget that paid for
Here's where I'm going to go back to this again. I figured Bram Stoker's Dracula, they at least showed him in his different incarnations. Like, he was rats, he was mist, he was fog, he was a wolf. They didn't have really great computer graphics back then, but they fucking used makeup.
And they used a wolf. They literally used a wolf.
That's so cool. I just don't feel like they tried hard enough.
I don't know, because I still kind of keep going back to the fact that Dracula Untold is an origin story. So I'm sure he turned into that after millennia of being this monster.
Yeah, there is no Rocky training sequence on this where he learns to be a wolf.
The vampire who made him didn't do anything. There was no. It was like, okay, I bet you suck my blood. You're a vampire now. Bye.
Well, it's because it was the whole point of the cave. Yeah, he can't go anywhere out of this cave, and the whole point, he's been there for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
It wasn't that many years.
I mean, like,
it was 1,000 or so years.
Yeah, so
he's
it's
still
like
white.
He's been trapped in this cave. The only way that he eats because of people there. Like, yeah, he fucking gets bored. So there's somebody. He's like, oh, this seems like a fun game. He can get me out of this cave if he fucks up.
It's really the devil's bargain.
But it's like the whole point of, like, we've gone past Vlad the Impaler to the point where he's like, I have a family now, and he's the family man. So
Vlad the Impaler did have a family.
Yeah, and that's my point. Like, this is that origin story. We're past the point where he was this brutal.
But here's
past,
my problem with that.
But we haven't gotten to that really dark thing where he's a vampire. We're seeing.
But Vlad the Impaler is the family man the same way Genghis Khan was. Like, he didn't have one queen.
Yeah,
I think like that's my problem with this whole movie in general. I'm not going to argue that point because you're right. It is an origin story.
I love that you're arguing for the movie that you picked
for this
Well,
project.
I mean, I'm just giving the side of it, because it's like, this is wrong. Well, it's like, you have to look at it as what it actually is.
But the problem is it's a very poor execution of it, because it's so...
It's very watered down, and they don't explain things very well. Yeah.
And he just likes being adversarial.
Well, yeah, he does.
This is why I'm here.
But also, it's just one of those things where it tries to be one of those Hollywood, he has to be a really, really good guy, but he can be kind of tormented thing that's so popular now.
I just feel like maybe it wasn't a good idea in the first place. Like, I'm not going to argue the reason it was the way it was. I'm just going to say that I have a deep problem with it to begin with, because the last time I fell in love with a Dracula movie, it was Gary Oldman with that weird fucked up make and laughing his ass off like an evil, insane bastard. So then when I come into this movie...
You were the opposite of before we went into this movie.
Like, when I come into this, I want to see a dark, twisted, sort of sadomasochistic Dracula. And you're not going to get that.
No. Well, because it's PG-13. Again,
it's
so,
PG-13.
It's too romanticized, though. That's the problem.
And it's
Dracula is a romantic,
but it also
story,
doesn't have the viscerality of it's not visceral enough for the violence to be Vlad the Impaler.
It's not a horror movie.
No, it's not even a horror movie. It's not even a good action movie, because the fight sequences are so
dry.
They're just dull. They're dull. He kills 1,000 people, and I'm bored to fucking tears.
You can't even tell that there were 1,000 people.
Trafficker thing with the bats, though. That was kind of
cool. Oh, yeah, and
that
you
is
can see
cool,
his hand.
but it's like, I want, to see the bats get... Because all those bats are dead.
Yeah.
He kills all those bats.
I was like, they wouldn't impact the ground like a meteor like that and not live.
Yeah,
like,
they all would have died.
Yeah, no, he didn't care.
He did not give a shit about the fucking creatures that he controls.
Yeah. But couldn't he just make them? He can become
No,
bats.
he didn't make them. They just showed up.
Yeah,
and
they followed him.
Summoned them.
He can turn into bats. So
but
he himself can turn into a few bats.
Yeah, that are based...
I
think the amount of bats that he can turn into is based off the amount of mass. Like, the conservation of mass still works here.
Yeah. Maybe we should sit and count all the bats.
No, I don't want to watch any part of this movie ever again. I don't. Like, if he had been able to turn into a wolf, like you mentioned, you could make those scenes that much more visceral. If he's, ripping guys' throats out as a wolf, I'm down.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see wolf on soldier action.
Yeah.
Kill those Turks.
But we
I'm cool with
didn't
that.
even see any rape, and you knew that was happening.
Have we started to transition into the next part of what we would fix?
No. We're still in this.
It's still bad.
What I want to get on is the topic of the wife's death, because it's so, like, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Because it's so terribly cliche.
Yes.
That's not how his wife dies in any other legend. His wife dies and he confronts God. Like, I wanted his wife to die by the soldier's hands, like he couldn't save her at all. And then he just rips that soldier's throat out with his teeth, and that's how he fixes it. No. Like, the moment of passion, he makes that mistake.
She dies because of shoddy masonry.
Yeah, right? Shoddy old world masonry.
It would have been a little bit more believable for his just complete anger if that guy would have just stepped on her hands.
We've already seen him lash out at the people that he loves and he wants to defend. But for that guy to have killed his wife right there, her to fall to his death, and then he just snap and rip that guy's throat out in a moment of passion, that would have been so much better
than him, his wife being a martyr.
To bite her.
Yeah, please bite me and live in eternity in damnation.
No, okay, I will say that it's more of a feminist stance for her to sacrifice herself than her death to be what motivates the male character, because that's a horrible cliche.
That is extremely.
But that is the cliche that's written into every Dracula lore. Like, he straight up confronts God and condemns his soul to the devil.
His wife did die, and the story of Vlad the Impaler.
No,
his wife
he
did
does.
die. Yeah,
she dies of disease.
Yeah,
when he's gone at war.
So he
curses God.
Yeah. Yeah, so she did die. It was tragic, and it did, so it's just, those are things that happened.
Yeah.
Women were property.
Yeah, they were. It sucks.
Thanks, religion.
But if you're going to make something like a period in a historical piece, you do have to treat it right. And as much as that hurts me to say as a feminist, it means women in those old ways fit different roles. It sucks, but in that atmosphere, she totally would have been considered property. And, God, I hate to say that.
but it's true.
Yeah, it kind of didn't seem that way though.
No,
it goes back to that dynamic of he and her.
Well, because they Hollywood romance the shit out of it.
Hollywood's not going to not going to point the finger at their own shit. Like,
well,
hey, we're sexist and awful. We're not going to show. We're not going to actually admit
Human history is full of treating women and other people as property, but we're not going to showcase that.
Yeah, because we're Hollywood.
Side point: if you guys listening to this want to watch an awesome movie that's also incredibly
I swear
sexist,
to God, if you plug. Oh, okay, yes. Yes.
Wait, I can't remember now.
What? No, you can't. You got
Chinatown.
Chinatown.
Fucking Chinatown with Jack Nicholson.
Oh my God, I forgot about.
Oh
Chinatown.
my God, it's the worst movie, but the best movie. The worst sexist movie ever.
That's because a lot of Jack Nicholson movies.
It was set in the 30s and 40s where it was already incredibly sexist.
Yeah. But it was
also
incredibly sexist and racist.
It was a 60s movie that was set in the 70s. Sorry.
So it's in that confrontational indie period, almost indie period.
It's like the one redeemable character gets slapped up, raped, abused the whole movie.
Yeah.
We're not going to go into it.
But it's not made to be sexist. It's made to point out sexism in traditional media. And traditional American
he really
culture.
liked slapping her around.
Well, I know, but you're not supposed to like Jack Nicholson's character in Chinatown.
No.
He's a horrible person.
Yeah.
Beautifully tailored suits.
Oh, he had fantastic
Every
suits.
scene, their costuming budget must have been amazing.
Well, you know what? There's been a lot of horrible men in American history who wore
It was an inner pleat that
suits.
opened outward on the back of his coat. It was amazing.
It was very tailored,
Have you seen Thank You for Smoking? That man's in beautiful suits the whole movie. He's a horrible human being. No, wait. So I hate her death. Because it's just like, blah, blah, blah. I'm self-sacrificing. This feels fake.
I'm going to catch you because
he's the master of darkness, but he can't go
faster
can't fly
than gravity.
Fast enough.
He can't fly faster than gravity? What the fuck?
But he's actively pushing and falling at the same time. He should have been able to catch up. So it doesn't make it doesn't make sense to me.
And then how was she not smashed and crushed if it fell?
How did she sit there for like?
I'm still alive. No, your head would have been.
She's in one piece.
Yeah,
she should be everywhere.
Yeah. At least Broken Bones, she was moving a lot.
Can I talk about how much once the people turn into vampires, they suck?
Yes.
They just he has control of himself. They all turn into fucking monsters.
I was reminded of
the
second or third Twilight film with the newborns. I was reminded of that where they can't control themselves. They even had the same similar eye glow thing.
No, it's the third.
Oh yeah,
it's the third
one. I don't know.
It's Eclipse.
I
read those. I'm sorry, everyone.
You're not alone. There's a bunch of production value in this movie that I don't think the script delivers on, and the last fight really upsets me because this is an awesome set piece. He's got the tent. He's surrounded in silver. I'm like, this is brilliant. He actually planned for this fight. He knew vampire lore. He's like, oh, you got a weakness for silver. I'm going to kill you. Yeah. And, you get the idea where the stake through the heart myth comes in. Because you're like, how great would it be to impale Vlad the Impaler?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, that's great. That's cool. But then, he's having this struggle. And it's like, I want him to overcome. But then, all of a sudden, he's just like, oh, that thing I've been doing to kill all these people. I'll just turn into bats and then show up behind him and kill him.
Yeah, because all of the silver obviously weakened him, but not enough to weaken him where it can't turn into bats.
Well, it makes a logical jump where it's like, Vlad, you're a terrible tactician to be Vlad the Impaler, because wouldn't you just fly at him like bats, like you did to 1,000 people?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he was just like, yeah, you fucker, I'm going to relish this.
Mono.
No matter what happens, though, when there's other people, when there's other Transylvanians around, he's a terrible fighter. Because in the first scene, he just kills 1,000 people like it's nothing before any of his men get there.
Yeah.
And then the second big battle scene, right, where they're escorting the convoy mission, half those people die because he takes forever turning into bats and killing people.
Yeah.
It might have been the trees, though. He did have to fly around trees.
And it was also the fact that they were swarmed upon before he even got to leave.
That's
so
true.
they were a ways away, apparently, even though it was this very small setting of Transylvania.
They did a very good job of digitally animating
He really does fly slow. Maybe that's why he can only fly as fast as gravity pulls down. I don't know.
That would be.
I don't feel like there was any other vampire movies away from the whole Dracula lore that I really enjoy. One of them being Interview with a Vampire. Arguably,
Interview with a Vampire is fantastic.
Yes.
Arguably, probably the best vampire movie we'll ever see. Just everything was just awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I still love Nosferatu, the original.
Yeah. But it just, so getting away from but just like there's always in any vampire myth when it's an intro like this where somebody's being, they go from human to vampire, there's a little bit of a transition period. He gets like a minute where he's like, oh, I can hear things and see things. Okay, cool. I'm going to go kill these people.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to take any time to figure anything out. Nothing's explained to him.
Yeah.
That 3-day crutch is really hard to, like, how does he learn everything so fast?
It's like, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, he basically was just died physically and then was reborn. Would he really have the motor function or the ability to control his powers that much that he could just suddenly decimate everybody in 3 days? I think that 3-day thing, I've never heard that. That's just it's a crush.
It's a crush they built into this
built
movie.
Into the plot,
So they could have some way for him to be saved.
The plot felt rushed. I just feel like the writing was bad in certain parts. It did feel very watered down. Like, I feel like I like the actor. I think he did the best he could with not very much.
I'm not going to critique anyone's performances in this. Everyone's performances were great for what the script is.
I think the best actor, though, was the master vampire in the cave.
Oh, yeah.
He stole.
Tywin Lannister steals the show again.
He was just
I really love the son, though.
The kid actually.
Oh my god! Yes,
his reactions were really spot on.
He was totally like, this kid is going to be a great leader. And he even said it in the church pew. Oh, it was good. He played that role well. He just wanted his father to be proud of him. He's like, no, I'll go.
Yeah, he's like the role. The kid played the role really well.
Kid was a leader.
His facial reactions, they weren't too over the top. Like he had when he's afraid of his dad in that moment. And I'll keep going back that moment in the courtyard where they all try to kill him.
Yes.
That's my favorite moment in the whole movie.
Yes,
because you see him pushed to his limit. And you can experience you're waiting for him to rip someone's throat out and become Vlad.
Yes.
The Dracula.
But then his wife steps in.
Yeah.
The one thing that anchors him.
Yeah.
And
that's why I think his death, her death should have made the rage thing go in him.
And that goes back to what I was saying is that was organic and
their connection was organic. But when you look back at the kid and the slight fear, the
jumped
flatness,
back. Yeah.
The flatness of his face and the eyes, the shaky eye pupil, the kid did really well.
He was a great actor.
I just feel like it was...
Makes me wonder if there's some horrible trauma.
It goes back to what you were saying. He did the best with the crap script that he was given.
Well, it's the whole thing, the whole plot.
What? Interrupted me because I had something to say. I always feel like if I see a kid that's really that great an actor, like I was worried about this for Dakota Fanning for years. I'm like, what trauma have they seen in their life that they know how to respond that well to this? Like,
I don't know. Maybe they just have it.
Like Jodie Foster, she's playing a prostitute at 14. I'm like, what horrible thing happened to Jodie Foster as a child that made her that fucking good?
Fucking Taxi Driver.
Jodie Foster. Anyway,
you should. Jodie Foster's fantastic.
You in the bed. Anyway,
oh, I almost shot Coca-Cola in my nose.
It's another great movie.
Another company that could sponsor if they like.
Oh, yeah, Coca-Cola, feel free to sponsor me and give me free Coke.
I just feel like there was a lot of pandering to American audiences, the Hollywood machine pumping out another, generic watered-down action film based on an overplayed theme. It was really obvious timeline. There was no guessing. The non-important characters were incredibly flat and totally exposable.
There's
disposable.
Two blonde warrior guys on his side. And one of them dies, and the other one's alive. I couldn't tell who the fuck they were. Like I thought it was like, didn't he die?
Yeah.
Didn't he die? Now,
and then you get the feeling that it's like, is this his teacher, his advisor, his uncle? Who is this? Who is this?
And I wasn't sure about that. Was it his dad? I don't know, man.
And then these other women who were part of his wife's court, they were kind of important, but not important enough that he doesn't forsake them. And
this goes back to the problem I have with a lot of Hollywood films. Is Hollywood's like, oh, our audience is stupid. We have to spoon feed them everything. And that's what this movie is.
You can care about 4 characters. That's it.
Yeah, we're not going to give you the backstory.
We can't. You can't handle a backstory.
One of the characters that they thought was a boy was actually a girl in disguise.
Yeah,
and they don't ever go into that. It's just like, oh, you're just supposed to notice that. Oh, that's a girl with a thing on her head pretending to be a boy, but we don't ever figure it out. And then he very readily, when she's very much so alive and not wounded and dying, he turns into a vampire anyway, and then he kills her later. So it's like. I was uncomfortable. It was too easy for him to flip a switch and suddenly kill everybody that he once cared about, by turning them into vampires and forsaking them. I was just like,
Well,
you want a chance for revenge? Well, I thought we'd pick up the pieces and rebuild our kingdom, but sure, yeah, let's go fucking murder all these people.
Yeah.
So he kind of betrayed, but it's plot hole.
Most of the people that you see that
Your
first
cat's
come,
on the fucking sound, isn't it?
Yes. Fuck you, Hobbs. You little cunt.
I'm the only person I know who actually puts the tags on their cats. My cats refuse to move when they have anything on their neck at all.
My cat won't let me get close. Like, if you try to grab my cat around for a collar, my cat will rip the shit out of your hands.
Yeah, my cat's dumb.
Yeah, that's true. Your cat is dumb.
He's like, what the hell is this for like the first 4 or 5 hours? And he's like, no, I'll accept my fate. That's cool.
Okay,
No,
is there anything else we
them off.
Is there anything else we hate about this movie?
No.
It was an uncomfortable length because it wasn't too long, but it also felt like, oh, is that it?
It dragged a little.
Yeah, it's weird. It drags, but then it's so abrupt.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest juxtaposition because I'm like, oh, when is this gonna? Oh, it's over.
Yeah.
Huh. Weird.
Like,
I thought there would be a better conclusion.
Is the Master Vampire supposed to be Van Helsing in the end? I don't
No,
understand.
I think the Master Vampire is the devil himself, and there's some bet against God that Dracula's going to have to be a part of.
Yeah.
That's what I got
They
from
kept it way open for a sequel, but this movie
that will
tanked.
never happen.
There will
never be a sequel to this movie.
No.
And
which, if this could get
I would
written,
love to
if
talk
it could
to the
be...
producer and the director who are like, and the writer who are like, we're going to make a sequel. I'm like, what the... I have
What's
to
gonna
know
happen?
Yeah.
what were you going to do with it. Not because I want to see it made. I just have to fucking know what you thought was so good you had to make a 2-part movie out of it.
I don't know.
Oh, God. I wish faces could transfer to audio. The face Jessie made was fantastic.
No, it was not good.
Yeah.
And we were so excited when we went into this movie.
I saw that they were making
Free ticket!
I saw they were making a Dracula movie, and I'm like, this isn't going to be good.
No.
Like, I had the exact opposite.
I shit you not, I didn't know that it was PG-13. If I would have known it was PG-13 before going in, I wouldn't have gotten the ticket. I would have been like, are you kidding me?
You had a free ticket, so...
Yeah.
It's not like you could transfer it to another movie.
Actually, I got that movie completely for free.
No, I meant like the ticket. You couldn't...
Oh, yeah. But I still got that movie. His and I tickets were free.
Really? Nice.
Because turning those free ticket things in when you get the coupon from the DVDs or whatever you buy it from, they are not easy to redeem at all.
No,
they don't want you to redeem them.
No,
they don't want you to.
But it's like I spent $11 for the second ticket and then got it back at AMC 16.
Because the manager was just like, whatever. Yeah, here.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Showplay 16.
Yeah.
Props.
You guys shit the bed and gave us a free movie.
And
that
sponsored
sucked.
the podcast.
That reminds me, we were driving on 173.
We see a lot of movies for this podcast.
Yeah.
If a movie theater wants to sponsor us one time, I will shill for you. Because I like going to movie theaters.
Yes.
I
I
don't
wish
like
I
paying
had
$7
more money.
for a Coca-Cola, but I love going to a movie theater.
theaters, why can't you be more affordable? I would be in you every day. That sounded really sexual.
Yeah, he would. Just lube yourself up with that popcorn butter, and he's just going to slide right in there.
Yeah,
that would lead to a lot of different complications.
Yeah, it
Can
tastes
you absorb
real
cholesterol
good
off
after
your
though.
dick?
I don't know. It would probably really burn the next time you had to urinate.
Would it?
though.
Maybe. Let's
don't
try
know.
it. No. Butter as lube.
I think butter and lard have to be the first lubes anyway.
Probably. Just like
Because
sheep.
oil, like
Fucking-
lamp oil, is just whale oil, so that's basically refined lard.
That
Yeah.
I have something else. We didn't see any nudity. We barely saw him without his shirt on. It's like
Yeah.
PG-13.
PG-13.
Yeah, but
Oh,
I
man.
at least want to see some like man chest or something.
You
No, we
did.
get one scene of that.
You
Yeah,
One.
you
did
did only
with
get
his
one scene.
scarred.
One.
You saw a lot of really
No, you
muscular
actually see him.
back though.
You see him shirtless
Yeah,
twice.
but
because
then he
it's
had
to-
back knee.
No, it's the first time you see him shirtless is to show that he has scars.
Yes.
Like the 2 times you see him shirtless actually serve story purposes. Because
He has scars,
and
and
then
he
he
doesn't
doesn't
have
have
scars.
and his wife confronts him about it.
Yeah, and then he's like, "I'm a demon from hell." Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's all.
I love you anyways.
God, how do we make this better?
I'm gonna end on they were both pretty. Like like they were.
No, but how do
they
you
were
make
both
how do you
pretty?
make a Dracula movie now with the historical context aspect and make it a good movie?
Keep more of the folklore.
that
it has to keep
that show that they have on the BBC about Dracula? That's a good show.
I've never seen it.
I've
They
never seen
they
it.
do it well. That same actor, I can't remember his name right now, but he played Henry VIII in Tudors.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's playing Dracula. He's doing a kick-ass job.
Cool.
I haven't seen it.
I have not
the
seen
BBC.
It's a wonderful. Well, they played other stations too, but it's a
okay. The one thing that would fix this before you actually go into the whole production of rewriting the script and everything about it, you start the fucking movie with a hard R. So it's a horror monster movie. You can get scenes of him brutally ripping people's throats out. You can get scenes of him folklore. Him actually turning into different creatures because he's a creature of the night.
Can we take the 3-day thing off?
Yes.
And extend the time for the frame for the movie?
At least a week.
Well, the problem is this movie takes place in 3 days, and this movie just feels like the opening narration of a Dracula movie extended for an hour and a half.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it feels like something you're told, and like Bram Stoker tells the legend of Vlad the Impaler becoming Dracula in like 5 minutes, and I'm like, I'm down. I understand.
And it was really badass, and it was great cinematography.
And I understand how Vlad's conflicted.
Yes.
Like, I get Vlad the Impaler becoming Dracula and being conflicted.
Admit it, you just like seeing Winona Ryder fall off an incredibly high tower.
No, I love Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves trying to do British accents. It's amazingly bad.
I do love Keanu Reeves as a person.
But this was in a time when Winona Ryder kept getting cast in British, like, she's in Little Women. She can't do a British accent to save her life. No offense, Winona. I love you and Edward Scissorhands and like Mermaids
and
Girl Interrupted. There's a bunch of stuff I love Winona Ryder in.
Christian Slater.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I never want to say who told you could do an Elizabethan accent, because they're wrong. They fucking lied to you.
And Christian Bale in that movie had a terrible accent, and he has a fucking accent.
We're not getting on Christian Bale right now, because I'm trying not to shit on people.
Well, I feel
he's gonna take down the Zack Snyder poster and replace it with Christian Bale.
Well, I feel like
okay.
Go.
Wait, so we're talking about it could be better?
Yes.
Yeah, we gotta make the movie better. That's always how we end.
We
always end on a positive.
Not a Dracula movie, this movie.
How would we make a better Dracula movie with this kind of setting?
Yes.
What I would think you do is you play the long story. If you tell the origin, you tell the origin kind of quickly, and then you give him a different scapegoat. There has to be a different way for him to save his soul.
Yeah.
Well, I also feel like there's a lot of and I'm pretty neutral. Like, I just prefer to like believe that everybody has their own perspective and in their own way in their mind they're right.
Yeah.
So nobody has any ground to argue that they're more right than someone else.
The name of the movie implies that it's your perspective.
Oh,
that's why I don't like this.
Yeah. Well, I told you I said all that to predicate the fact that I feel like there's a lot of post 9/11 anti-Arab like mindset going on here.
Against
it's like
these
are the mindless Turks and they're Islam, and we see the symbol over and over again, but they never actually say it.
Constantly trying to take over the world.
You pray like us.
Yeah, you prayed to you prayed like us.
And it's like, are we really supposed to believe that the leader of an entire nation, at the time was one of the most powerful, the greatest world powers, in the Western civilization?
They were conquering the world.
Like, are we really supposed to believe that they sent 100,000 troops to conquer a little, municipality? No, he wouldn't have wasted his time. He wouldn't have wasted his time. And so I just feel like they're trying to set this guy up to be this big, cocky supervillain. He's got the freaking Jersey Shore haircut that's totally not appropriate for the time
period. Not at all.
And it's just like, I just feel
it feels like it's throwaway 300 is what it is.
Yeah, I'm just like,
and
you know what? I don't
movies.
we're going to use Americans are still kind of anti-Islam right now, so let's give them an Islamic villain.
I hate that. Yeah, you're right. It is Islamophobic.
I'm like, and then also, I think one thing when we were talking about with It Follows, another movie everyone should go see.
Definitely.
The reverse of what this podcast is about.
We're going to do that. Like, a good horror movie, like a good formula, like Jaws, that one, any movie you think of, like, they show you something really, really shocking in the beginning, and then they give you time to build up.
Yes.
And they build atmosphere.
And also, I don't want him to be by the end of the movie, Dracula should not be redeemable.
He should not be the good guy when he finds love at the end when they're in the future. No, that's too romanticized. He
does do that. He always looks for someone who looks just like his wife.
Yeah, but it's like, no.
That's why he finds Winona Ryder.
Yeah, but at the end, he's still the tortured soul.
Well, he is. Dracula's always the tortured soul.
Yeah, okay.
But he should become a monster.
Yes, okay, he is the tortured soul. Yes, but we don't want to like him because of it. Because he's fucking Dracula. That's why you like Dracula. Because he's the worst kind of monster. He lives by killing other people.
Yes.
Fucking Dracula. You're not supposed to like him because he is
the villain of the story.
Yeah. He shouldn't be the protagonist. That's how you fix this movie.
Well, no, you can still have him be the protagonist. You can have him be the protagonist. Protagonist doesn't mean he's a hero. He just means he's the lead of the story.
Like he's both. He's both the hero and the anti-hero at times. Like in Bram Stoker's Dracula, at the end he became the hero because it's showing the ignorance of civilized white men and the ignorance of medical science and society at the time. They weren't advanced enough. So it's just like he's showing. It's kind of playing on the ignorance of the time period. Sort of like it's like retrospectively making social commentary.
But he's a monster who steals a woman away from her husband.
But he still has a heart and everything, and he still loves. So it's like, I think.
But his love is so horribly selfish.
Yes.
Yeah. And this Dracula is so horribly selfless.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And it's like, that's the only thing.
I wanted to get off a little bit on killing people because every Dracula I've ever known, even Bela Lugosi, had an awesomely wicked laugh. It's like, we don't get any of that.
He gets consumed by the bloodlust and
that's
he
the
enjoys
only,
it. He revels in it. The other vampires all revel in it. He doesn't.
Like Gary Oldman licking the straight blade, like he's just like shuddering. I'm like, I fucking love that.
That's what I think. You have to extend the period. I want there needs to be a different device for his soul to be saved. Yeah. He needs to get really dirty before he gets a chance to get his soul saved. Yeah. And then he fucks it up anyway.
Yeah,
because he's irredeemable.
The thing is, the fact that he is the hero, we need to show more of the fact that he's Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
They glaze over that.
They have the one moment where they show 1,000 soldiers on the spikes.
In the very beginning.
No. Towards the end when he sees all of his troops.
In the very beginning, whenever the credits roll.
Yeah, but they did that with the Turks later on. So, twice they show the Impaler.
They could even have shown, one of the colorful things that I always liked from the myths about Vlad the Impaler was when he had guests over, he had them in the field of impaled bodies that were rotting, and he had a center, open area, and he had a table set up, and when he had dignitaries from other countries come in, they, not wanting to offend him, he said, "Oh, are you off your appetite?" And he said, "Well, the air is a little foul." So then he put that dignitary on the highest pole in the field of impaled bodies, and he said, "Well, maybe the air will be a little bit cleaner for him up there."
Yeah,
that he could have, him dipping his bread in the blood of his enemies. You could have shown something that
he was already a monster.
Yeah, he was a monster.
They just glazed right over the fact that
whitewashed him.
Yeah, it was like, no, okay, I killed thousands of people. What did you feel? I didn't feel anything. All right, cool. You want my powers now?
I think that's the best thing you can do with this movie is actually if you're gonna make a movie that's historically accurate to Vlad the Impaler, let's be honest. Vlad the Impaler is a horrible human being long before he becomes something unhuman. And you took away any of
you gave him too much humanity.
Yeah.
As a vampire.
Yeah.
Thanks, Twilight. Fucking sparkling.
I think that's the perfect epitaph to this episode of the podcast is thanks, Twilight. You fucked up vampires for me. And you fucked up zombies.
Do you guys remember
do you remember when you could be afraid of horror creatures and you didn't want to fuck them?
What was that vampire movie?
Although I think some hardcore vampires
30 Days of Night.
Yeah.
That vampire movie where it's Alaska and it's all nighttime.
But once again,
and everyone died.
Timeline. You're from the perspective of survivors. You're not told everything. And and this is what I love, the only way you realize time is passing is Josh Hartnett's beard getting fuller and fuller.
Yeah.
That's amazing!
That was amazing.
That's amazing.
Well, we could also harken back to one of my favorite vampire movies, which is directed by the great... Come on. No one's going to finish me before this?
What? Vampire? What?
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh my God, Tarantino!
No, he's just all camp.
That's Robert. That's Robert Rodriguez.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes, Robert Rodriguez is Quentin's in it.
Yeah, he is.
Robert Rodriguez directs it.
It's that's just all camp though. It's super camp.
Yeah,
it's super camp,
but it was still
tongue-in-cheek,
gore.
not being taken seriously.
Yeah, but it was still gore, and they were still vampires.
And at least they weren't afraid of movie makeup. But you know why they weren't afraid of movie makeup in that movie? Because Tom Savini was in that. And you know who Tom Savini is? He was partners with George A. Romero, the original trilogy, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead,
Night
of the Living Dead. So Tom Savini being in that movie basically guaranteed that there was going to be just as much movie makeup and gore as you could possibly fit into one film, and that's what Dusk Till Dawn turned into.
It was awesome.
Really shitty computer effects, but awesome makeup effects.
Oh yeah, the shitty computer effects are just from the time, because it was a 1996 film.
Yeah, that's the
thing. You're not Independence Day in that time, you're making a shitty special effect.
Yeah.
Also, Selma Hayek is the... Jesus Christ, that's what a female vampire should be. Just bucks them and you're like, I don't care, I'm gonna die. This is like, that's the thing about vampires is they're so deadly because they are both... There's something unworldly about them that is just fucking like... Gary Oldman looks creepy in the fucking movie Dracula with the mustache and the hair and the glasses, and you're still like, yeah, he's fuckable. And I'm a straight man, and I'm like, Gary Oldman's fuckable in this movie.
Of course Winona's gonna go after his sexy ass.
Yeah.
Like, he's pretty.
Yeah, right?
I'm like, yeah.
He's pretty.
He was pretty. He had that long, luscious locks, and I'm like, oh, Gary Oldman.
Oh, yeah. And even the girl that he turns into a vampire who becomes his, like, vampire whore who is going to marry the one
she's
guy.
Like,
she becomes, like, a fucking sex kit, and you're like,
yeah.
She's fucking crazy, but let's do this.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll take this one for the team.
There was a little bestiality. There was a lot of bestiality.
There's a lot of bestiality in that movie.
See, there needs... Okay, last thing. There needed to be, like, a hardcore vampire sex scene. I feel like at least that could have thrown us a bone.
Especially when he converts those girls.
Thrown us a bone. Good pun.
Yeah.
Unintentional puns. All right.
We quietly high-fived.
Yeah,
I could hear it. It was like
unknown. Okay, so kind of taking the one of my favorite movies that I know you guys probably haven't seen. They're not on Netflix. You kind of have to hop around to pirate them or stream them from unknown websites.
We don't use the P word when it's going to be on the internet. So.
Oh well,
yeah.
Sorry,
we don't do that.
We have to find
he and I
other
are family
sources.
Video all the time.
Yes.
You have to find you have to find other sources.
Do.
There are free streaming websites that you can go to that will have these films. They're called Subspecies. Subspecies 1, 2, and 3, lesser-known, low-budget horror films about vampires set in Transylvania in contemporary times in the 80s.
That's weird.
But there's really, 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 really creepy. They actually they play off of the bloodline of Dracula, but based on his brother Radu.
Okay, so there's subspecies?
Subspecies. Really creepy. Some of the best,
I think I've seen that floating around
There is
Netflix.
one scene where he has Nosferatu fingers, and he rips them off, throws them through the other side of a gate, and they turn into demons and open the gate for him. I'm like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
And it's claymation. I'm like, okay,
Huh.
it was watchable.
So talented people made it.
Yeah. The plot is terrible, but just for the makeup effects and like the villains alone, it's really good. Subspecies at least 1 and 2 is good to watch.
We need to go back to everything that we've always said about bad movies. It needs to be made by people that actually care what they're doing.
Yeah, you need people who love.
To fix this movie, it would actually take somebody that likes and knows the history of Vlad the Impaler to actually bring some richness and real truth to what the character is.
Yeah, I can't say it enough. Having people who like and want to make movies is one thing. Having people who love the type of movies they're making is a completely other thing.
Yes.
We've seen it with the superhero films. I mean, James Gunn loved making Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's amazing.
Yes.
And when you have the people that DC hires to make superhero movies that don't love superheroes, they're terrible. So, suck it, Zack Snyder.
Shit on your face.
And then, that's my problem with movies, is you need people who really love being in that movie.
We're ending on the exact same note as yesterday.
I think that with this movie...
Thanks, Nick.
That was a week ago to the listener. Sometimes we record these on back-to-back days. Folks.
Yeah, because podcasts.
Yeah.
Recording. It's real time. Damn it.
We broke the fourth wall!
Ah!
Because Jerry's lazy.
Yeah. Jerry's lazy. Jerry does all the legwork.
No. Jerry does all the editing.
Thomas does all the legwork of tracking down people, doing the research, making sure he watches every goddamn movie for it.
And he's terrible I can't do anything. I have to do editing tonight. And then I say, what did you do?
Look,
I laid in bed till 3 in the morning and then slept in.
And then I edited, yeah.
Oh, he does edit. He does edit.
Yeah. I edit the shit out of things.
Jerry is a fantastic editor. Don't let Jesse tell you otherwise. Jesse.
I'm not saying he doesn't do it. I'm just saying that when he gets around to it, it's great.
Well, the funny thing
That's
is
why
when
we
I
have
say
a personal assistant.
when I say I lay in bed, I've got my laptop on my chest editing.
He does. We have a fantastic personal assistant for the podcast. She keeps Jerry and I in check, and we love her for it.
Most of the time.
And she's here right now
When
chiming
she's
in.
not doing other things.
Shut up!
Self high five. Thanks, DDP.
Way to be sexist to your own girlfriend / personal assistant of the podcast on the show. Okay, we're going to end on the note.
Now she's throwing it.
We are going to end on the note that is, thank you, Twilight, for ruining vampires for Hollywood for the next, 10 years. I think that's the epitaph for this movie.
Yeah.
Or also that it should have included somehow or another Anthony Hopkins because he could have saved it.
Hey, if Anthony Hopkins was Vlad's dad, that would have been rad.
Yeah.
No, he's too busy being Thor's dad.
That's true.
It's okay.
Can he just be everyone's dad? Everyone's creepy dad?
It's okay. He's
No.
God.
Yeah, no, he's not Thor's dad anymore. We saw that. Loki killed his ass.
Yeah. Yeah, he's God, so it's cool.
Yeah.
He's a God. He's the God. If you want to worship someone, Anthony Hopkins.
Or Morgan Freeman. Well, he did have that thing with his granddaughter. Never mind.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing is this movie
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
It needed someone's coattails to ride on, and they didn't have anybody.
No,
they had nobody. They had a guy in a cave that some people might know of, kind of, if they Google him. And that was it. They didn't have any great actors. I mean, say what you want about Bram Stoker's Dracula, and I agree totally with Winona Ryder.
And Keanu Reeves.
They had Gary Oldman.
No defending Keanu Reeves' performance.
I'm not defending.
Not his performance, but him as a person.
Him as a person is wonderful. Keanu, I will love you on this show.
They had Gary Oldman and Anthony Hopkins in one fucking movie.
This is true.
Yeah.
So it was like two titans that were already well established in their careers by the time they made the film.
Don't they have the guy who plays Alfred Pennyworth in the original Batman movies in that movie as well?
What?
In Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I don't know.
Okay,
yeah,
that's a conversation for another time.
Anything can prove that no matter what, if you have a shitty script, having an A-list cast is still going to make it a bad movie.
Yeah.
Then
you just have good people reading terrible lines, and that still doesn't help anything.
All right, goodbye, guys.
Yeah, and wait, it's my job. Well, that was I Want to Like This, Dracula Untold. All in all, I think I enjoyed the podcast a lot more than I enjoyed the film. The film almost had me nodding off, which is hard to do when you're writing, actively taking notes. That's the only thing that ever kept me awake in college courses, so somehow this film didn't manage to do that. I hope you enjoyed it, and once again, I'm going to remind you and plug our Facebook page, I Want to Like This, our Twitter handle, which is @IWannaLikeThis, and of course, you can subscribe here and feel free to like it. Hey, feel free to comment. This is a conversation. You make comments and we're going to comment back. Jerry Gossen can be found, can contact you through I Want to Like This. That's the thing about being a producer. He doesn't really have much for a handle himself, but he can be contacted through the company. I, myself, Thomas Sinclair, can be found at the T Sinclair on Twitter, and of course, the Thomas Sinclair on Facebook. Guys, have a great night. And hey, maybe you should make a suggestion about a movie that you got really excited about and you found horribly disappointed. Please don't let it be Jurassic World. I'm really looking forward to that. Have a great night.